I always like to do some introductions. So introduce yourself in the chat, where you're from, what you do. I'll start first, although I'll say it verbally. My name is Morgan. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I own a marketing agency. So feel free to do the same in the chat. Let me know who you are. Chris from Florida in real estate. Nice to meet you, Chris. Michigan therapist and DoorDasher. Nice to meet you again, Janet. Janet from California in real estate. Okay, we got some real estate people here. Nice to meet you. All right, for those of you just coming in, introduce yourself in the chat, who you are, where you're from, what you do. I'm in Alabama writer. Nice to meet you. California real estate. Wow. Benefit agent from Maryland, Missouri. I'm a writer and developer. Nice. These are good ones, y'all. Oh, I forgot. VIP. Oh, from Orlando. Nice to meet you. Commercial broker. Puerto Rico, working on starting a business. Yay, go Michelle. Fun times. Charlie from Northern Virginia. Awesome. IT company owner. Nice, Cam. I could never be in IT. It is way too hard for me. Awesome, Tamara. Digital marketer, joining from Dutchess Country in New York. I want to say, if I'm reading that correctly. Nice to meet you. Got a lot of Floridians and Californians in the house today. Jack, nice to meet you. I missed that. Marketing. All right. I always like to give the first 5 minutes to allow the other people to come in. Michelle, I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm a custom handmade jeweler and clothing designer. I also do cosmetology. Wow, that's awesome. I am not artistic at all, and I, if you can't tell, don't know how to do my makeup very well. But I do like jewelry and clothes. I spend money on a lot of clothes. Awesome, awesome. Okay, we'll give it about 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Home-based tailor. Interesting, I've never heard of that. Awesome. Well, excited for everyone to be here. All right, all right. Oops. Here we go. Hello. Looks like we got some people coming in the waiting room. Great. We're going to get started in the next minute. For those of you who just joined, people have been introducing themselves, letting me know where you are located and what you do. So feel free to do the same. And then we'll get started in the next minute or two. Hopefully people have fun plans this weekend. I know, me being in Texas, I will try and be out of the heat. It is very hot. We've had a lot of rain, so it's very humid. All right. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and jump in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I assume everyone can see my screen by now. If you cannot, flag me in the chat and give me a second while I get my chat and everything set up. So that way I can help respond. Where did my presenter? There we go. Here's the presenter view, and then let me just grab my chat so I can see people. Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about automations. This has been a huge request from my past webinars, so just diving in more to Progreda and the different CRM automations out there. In the chat, let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you use Progreda and are on Progreda. Put a 2 in the chat if you use a different CRM. Perfect. Looks like so far we're getting different CRMs here. Perfect. Different CRM. Okay. Wow. Okay. Lots of people on different CRMs. I put different CRM as number 2 right now. I'm second guessing myself. That's okay though. It will still be valuable. All right. I don't see any ones coming through. Okay. So I'm going to presume that most of us are not on Progreda and are using a different automation tool, and that's okay. We're still going to dive into automation and kind of what it can do, and it will be applicable no matter what. All right, so first, for those who are new, a little introduction on me. So I've been in marketing now for about 5 years, social media, marketing, worked at really large organizations like Sprout Social. So I've had a lot of different experiences in large and small corporations that I've worked for over the last few years. I've worked with hundreds of business owners and entrepreneurs providing strategic services, always to help them grow. What I always like to say, where I find myself sitting a little bit differently than most marketing agencies in that realm, is that I like to focus on the entire business and all the operations of the business. I feel that marketing has a direct impact on those and vice versa. So if I can drive 50 leads, but you don't have a great sales team or a strong customer journey, those leads are going to do nothing for you. So it's really important to have that whole picture view of what's going on in the entire organization as they all impact one another. So that's what my team focuses on and will help with sort of that consultation operational side. And I've worked with Progreda for over a year now as my also CRM marketing tool. That's a little backward, but there's a picture of me. So today we're going to be talking about automations. Again, asking in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you use automations today, and put a 2 in the chat if you have no idea what that is or if you don't use it today. Perfect. We got a mixed bag there of do's and don'ts. Okay. Well, let's talk about at a high level. Some of this may be super obvious to those who have been using automations for a while, but we're going to start as if no one knows what an automation is, and then we'll kind of dive into strategic ways to use automations. All right, so what is an automation? So automations involve streamlining or automating various parts of your business. So lead generation, follow-up, appointment reminders, scheduling, and more. So it's where users can create automated workflows that trigger actions based off specific events or conditions. So what does that help us do? That's going to help us reduce manual tasks. It's going to help us save time. It's going to optimize our operations, enhance our customer engagement. So when I say enhance customer engagement, it's pretty impossible if you have hundreds of leads to personally go and remind them and message them and create that loyalty, that relationship between them. So this will help enhance that, make it more personalized at a scalable rate, and then it's going to boost your overall efficiency. All right, so for Progreda, for automation, there's lots that can be done there. So we have Progreda is just like an all-in-one solution. So it's going to combine multiple tools into one platform, allowing you to reduce the time needed for subscription and other integrations. So you're going to be able to automate essentially with lots of various different tools. Again, so reducing your tech stack, reducing that monthly overhead cost. So that's one thing we'll go over today as far as automation and the benefits of automation. Second one is just ease of use. So with CRM tools, with marketing tools, I'm sure it pains everybody when you find very hard and complex ones that you have to learn, understand, and as well as onboard on. So this is going to allow you to set up and manage workflows in an easy to use fashion. And then customizable. So it's highly customizable. Workflows and triggers can be completely customized and tailored to your needs. And so with that being said, most CRM marketing tools are customizable. So it's a one size fits all. Others out there are more niched focused depending on the industry that you're in. So if you're in like retail, or chains, commercial chains, sometimes there are other options out there. Real estate is another really good example of that, given that y'all have like MLS systems and all of those things that you're dealing with. So sometimes you need one that's benefited or geared towards real estate, for example. But most of the time, your CRM systems and marketing systems should be customizable. Scalability, that's a really big one for marketing and automation tools. Progreda obviously has that, but for those of you who are using other ones, make sure that it's scalable for your business. So within Progreda, it doesn't matter who you have. If you have 0 leads and you're just starting, all the way to large enterprise and you have hundreds of locations, it is a one size fits all. I always like to say too, it's like a blank canvas. You're going to be able to design it to work how you need it to work. And then improved efficiencies. So all automations with whatever system you're using should help reduce those repetitive tasks, freeing up your time to work on more strategic projects within the business. So no need to be sitting there reminding people of their appointments or chasing them down when they don't show up. The system can help reschedule them. And then last, enhance customer engagement. So this is going to help you, again, enhance some of those follow-ups, those automated messages in a more personalized fashion at a more scalable rate. So again, if you have 200 clients, there's no way that I'm going to sit down and message each one of those at any given time. It's just too much on my plate. I need to be focusing on other parts of the business. And then secondly, I'm not going to pay someone just to sit down and remind and call people when I have automation to do it for me. All right, key features and tools when we're looking for automation is obviously workflow automation. So you have what's called triggers and actions. They're typically the same names across multiple marketing systems, but essentially workflows. You'll want some sort of CRM integration. Most of the time I'm looking for a tool that has both. So CRM is where you're going to be managing your leads or customers, patients, clients, whatever the case may be. It's going to allow you to say, okay, where are they at? Are they in a lead? Are they no-show? Are they booked? Are they closed won, closed lost, whatever the case may be. I always like to see it all in one so that I know how I can effectively market to each person within their journey in my business. Email and SMS marketing is a really big one that we should be looking for in tools. Again, there's a lot of siloed tech stacks out there, like Active Campaigns, MailChimp is a good example for email and SMS marketing. Again, they're siloed, so I would be looking for ones that kind of have that all-in-one solution, allowing me to email and text inside of one platform. So that way I can use it for my lead generation and trying to convert and nurture people to buy or to use me for their service, and vice versa. It's a really great way to continue to establish that relationship and loyalty throughout after someone has purchased a product or service from you. Appointment scheduling is another big one. So this is going to allow you to do free consultations, paid consultations for those who have actual services, where someone's coming for an appointment. This is going to help you also do that and manage that. With that being said, find a system that allows you to do that all in one is a great way of not having multiple different tech stacks, but it's different with certain industries like chiropractic, medical, even real estate. you're using your own internal system. So sometimes that can be a little bit hard, and we'll talk about a little bit later some things that you can do for those who are kind of stuck in those siloed appointment scheduler tools. Sales pipeline management. So this kind of goes up to CRM, but also I wanted to section it out because I do think it's important to talk about. So sales pipeline, that's going to be your lead gen. So how are they coming in? How are you capturing their information? And what's the journey that you're going to take them on after you capture that information, whether it's from ads, socials, events, in person, whatever the case may be. It's really important that you're having some centralized pipeline location that you're monitoring that journey. So once you capture them, they're sitting in a hold here and you're trying to get them to take that next step. So what does that step look like? The best advice that I always give when we're talking about, but I haven't started anything, I don't even have a pipeline, I don't have a tool, or I'm not even using automation. The best place to start is just get a pen and paper, totally old school, pen and paper, and write down once a lead comes in, no matter how they come in, what do I want them to do? What am I trying to accomplish? Am I trying to get them to schedule an appointment? And I'm trying to get them to RSVP or sign up for an event? Or am I trying to get them to download or click something so that way I can continue to nurture them? So it's really important to kind of just map out your customer journey and what that looks to get them from initial capture all the way to closing and buying from you. And in between all of that is essentially what you're going to be automating. And we're going to go through that today, but it's really important if you don't have a good pipeline established today, pen and paper, figure out the journey that you want your customer to go on. Then once you have that figured out, you're going to automate that journey. So essentially what we're going to do is talk about setting up automation. So these are 7 core steps to setting up an automation. So things that you should be thinking about when you start automating parts of your business. So one is obviously just go to the automation tab within your CRM system or marketing tool. You're going to create a new workflow. Name your workflow. Naming conventions are so important, especially for those who have multiple different automations throughout your customer's journey. It's a pain when you're trying to figure out which workflow does what. So naming conventions are huge, and we're going to walk through that today. I'm a stickler about naming conventions. I want to quickly edit something and not have to spend 15 minutes figuring out where the automation is. Adding your triggers, so those are essentially what's going to fire that action or series of events that you want to occur off that one single event. And then you're going to define those actions. So what are those actions that we want when that trigger is fired? We're going to set those conditions if conditions are applicable. So condition could be a good example is appointment reminder. So you would want to wait 24 hours before someone's appointment, maybe 1 hour before someone's appointment. So this is going to allow you to set up those different types of conditions, and we'll kind of deep dive into conditions in just a little bit of all the different types, and the ones that I see various industries using. Obviously, then you're going to save and publish. So step by step, 7 steps to help you define and remember how to kind of set those things up. So let's dive deeper into defining triggers and actions. All right, triggers. That's the event that starts the automation. Think of it just firing off something. So this could be someone books on your calendar and you want to automatically fire up a email or text automation. Your trigger is that they booked the appointment. Your action is that you're going to send an automated email confirmation and text confirmation and then reminders. So actions are the tasks that are performed automatically right after the trigger has been fired. And then you have segments. So these are series of automated actions. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into, sorry, not segments, sequences, the different sequences that you can set up within those automations. So with that being said, we're actually going to walk through it together. So what we're going to do first is walking through at a very in-depth level of all the different types of actions and triggers and how I see them most commonly used. And then we'll come back later and build out a scenario. So I'm going to flip screens here and hopefully y'all can see that. If you can't, let me know. that you can't see it. I usually don't do this. Yeah, you can. Okay, great. All right, so this is the automation side of the house in Progreda. I get most of us are using different CRM tools and marketing tools, but that's okay. It's still applicable. Most CRM and marketing tools out there have similar actions and triggers, but still applicable nonetheless. So with inside of Progreda, and for those of you who are either inside of Progreda or have never used the automation, it's going to be on the left-hand side called workflows. You'll click on that. You'll hit start from scratch at the top right. So here, we're going to dive into all the different triggers and use cases for triggers, and then we'll dive into the actions. So if I was to come in here and select a trigger, I have different sections within Progreda that I can choose from. So it's all about the contact. We have something called a birthday reminder. This is a really great way to enhance your relationship with your customers. It is really awesome when you get an email or a text from one of your customers wishing you a happy birthday and you didn't even have to remind them. It's just a really nice way to say, hey, I'm thinking about you, happy birthday. This is also a great way to establish more loyalty across the board by giving them like a 5%, 10%, or a free product for their birthday. People love that. I know on my birthday, I always get a free Starbucks drink because I love that. And I try and get everything for free that day. I'm sure everyone does. Contact changed created. So did we create a contact from an incoming form submission or ad or DM capture or from an outside tool that we're passing data over into our CRM automation tool here? So when a contact is created, do we want to fire something? Most of the time, people use contact created to automatically enroll people into marketing newsletters. So it's a really great way if you want to just continue to send out one-off newsletters to your database, continuing to put your name in front of them. Contact D&D. So if someone automatically responds, stop, unsubscribe, don't, keep me off your list, whatever the case may be, this is a great way just to automatically D&D that channel. So that way you don't have to think about manually going into that contact record and applying that D&D. You're automatically doing that if someone responds, stop, or unsubscribe. Contact tags. These are sort of like internal organizational labels that you can apply to contacts. This is most commonly used to help segment out your data for marketing purposes. For example, if I want to know who came in from Facebook ad, Google ad, and organic social, I can automatically create a tag when a contact tag has been added to that, so that way I can fire off actions based off that. Or let's just say you have a specific service or business. I think we have a lot of real estate in here, so I'll give a real estate example. So maybe this for real estate, you're wanting to segment people out from first-time home buyer, second-time home buyer, maybe different locations, counties. You can even do different type of pricing ranges. So here's everyone in my list that's searching for a property below 300,000. And this is a way that you could easily send out newsletters with new houses in those areas using contact tags, and you don't have to one-off select and go send different things. It's just going to automatically do that. And I know our MLS systems do that too, but just a broad example there. You can also remove tags. So this could be, hey, when a tag has been removed from somebody, I want to automate X, Y, and Z. So this could be additions or removals. You have a custom date reminder. So this is for like pre-events or maybe even pre-appointments. You want to set off a series of events. So perfect example for this actually is my husband is a videographer. So he owns his own business, his video production company, and he's doing a film meetup, and he's using his CRM to do a custom date reminder before the event to send out reminders for people that have signed up. So that's an example of how you could do that. A note. So if you're adding a note to a contact, so this will be more for those who really need to update conversations or different things. So I see a lot of the medical side of the house use note added and note changed as trigger options, as a lot of the time they're adding in patient records because Progreda is also HIPAA compliant. So this is where I see most of the time notes added or changed when you're speaking with someone and you just want to notate it. Task added. So these are for people who have multiple team members on their account. So again, I'll take real estate as an example. If you're a brokerage company, or maybe you're just a realtor who has lots of different real estate agents on the team, and maybe when a lead comes in, you're assigning a task to a specific realtor to reach out, or maybe a realtor needs to remind themselves, hey, closing is on this day, so here's all the things that I need before closing. You could add task for that. So on this day, you need to make sure that you're submitting X, Y, and Z. They've had their property inspected, whatever the case may be there. Task reminder, these are reminders to, hey, you have tasks, finish them. Task completed, so once a task is completed, do you want to automate things? So do you want to say, hey, congrats, thanks so much, or hey, your task has been completed for closing, congrats on closing your X property of the month. Skipped contact engagement score, I don't see that used a lot. So then you have events. So events are triggering off of events that are happening. So webhooks are essentially ways that think of Progreda as a middleman. And you're basically having a messenger send out data into Progreda. So essentially you're grabbing the information. The most common way to do this is through Zapier. So Zapier is an automated system that allows you to pass data from one system to another. So Zapier is sort of like your pigeon carrier in a sense. So you can do inbound or outbound. So inbound would be Zapier is I'm capturing things inside of Progreda and automating actions from that. Outbound is I'm sending things outside of Progreda into another system. So it's really helpful for those out there that have very specific tools or systems in place. So like for realtors, medical practices, med spas, for those who have systems, you can inbound and outbound data between softwares. Call status and email events, this just goes for once an email event has occurred or call status has been incoming, active, whatever the case may be. Customer replied. So we kind of walked through this a couple of webinars ago, but this could be a customer responded to your SMS, your email. If for those of you who are used to doing the DM me the word or comment the word link on your socials, this is another way that you can do customer replied. So if customer replied to that incoming DM or that link, you'd be able to, again, fire those automations after that. Forms submitted. So this is where you're capturing, this is the most popular form of capturing lead gen and then going down those automated steps, forms and surveys. Forms could be embedded on a landing page. You could do a Facebook lead form if you're doing ads, or TikTok forms. I'm kind of bouncing around, but you can see LinkedIn lead form, TikTok, Facebook, and then regular forms and surveys. So your regular form and surveys are inside of Progreda's or your CRM system, where you're going to be able to create your own forms or own surveys, and you can add and embed them on your websites, landing pages, or just send directly those links maybe inside of email marketing chains. That's where you're going to essentially ask questions, capture information, and then automate different various actions off that submission. Same for survey. Survey is more commonly used if you're asking a series of questions, if you're wanting to qualify. So you can do what's called a conditional logic. Essentially, it's if they answer in these 3 ways, they're a perfect match for me and I want to continue to nurture them. But if they respond in a different way, they're not a good match and I don't want to continue to nurture them. A good example of this is I have a client that is in the mental health space for men. So our lead ads sometimes, even though it's applied to the filters are applied to all men, sometimes we get some women that trickle in there. So one of our surveys is, are you male or female? If you are female, we gently disqualify you and just say, hey, our message, our motive is all to help men. While you're a woman, we encourage you to spread the word to men in your life. Give someone in your life that's a man, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a good way of using it to disqualify and qualify. So that way you're just spending the dollars and the marketing and all the things that you're doing on the right people that are most likely going to buy from you. Trigger link clicked. This is probably one of the most underrated features, but a very valuable and strong feature, especially within Progreda. I'm not sure if other tools out there have something like this, but essentially what this is inside of Progreda, you can take, for example, www.whateveryourwebsite.com, and you can add it inside of Progreda, and it's going to create what's called a trigger link. You can then embed those trigger links into your email marketing. And then if someone clicks on that link in your email, you're actually going to be able to do automations from that. So it's a really great way to see if people are engaging and clicking on the links that you're sending them. And if they are, then we know that that's more of a hot lead versus those who may have opened it but actually did not click on the link. It's usually pretty hard to immediately capture someone's information and know exactly who opened and clicked on a link. Most of the time you're having to do that with UTM parameters or pixel codes, and it takes a long time. It's kind of a pain, but with trigger links, it's as soon as someone books, you're getting that information through an automation. So again, really great way to continue to nurture those warm and hot leads who are actually interacting with the information or clicking on the links. It means that they're interested. We talked about Facebook lead form, TikTok form. Those are all ads. So basically you can just map over a form fill capture inside of your ads manager and take it straight into Progreda instead of having to manually pull it from, Facebook through Zapier to another tool. We won't worry about video tracking or Twilio or anything like that. Funnel website page view, that could also be an interesting one. So it's sort of like a trigger link. Instead, you're seeing if someone is actually on your funnel or website inside of Progreda. Again, you can automate some of those actions. So this would be a great way if you embedded that into an email or sent that link out. If I clicked on it, you could see that I was on your website. It's a really great way if no action is taken for you to follow up and just say, hey, I noticed you're on the website. Don't forget book, or don't forget you left your product in the cart, or whatever the case may be. So these are different events that can happen and occur and allow you to automate different actions. So again, we haven't gone to actions yet. We're just still on triggers, all the different ways that you can trigger events that can trigger actions. You have appointments, so appointment status and customer booked appointment. So these are ways that when someone books an appointment with you, you can send out automated reminders. You can remind yourself. You can send out different automations, tag them, etc. For appointments. So that's pretty self-explanatory there. Opportunities. So these are all the different types of opportunities and pipeline stages that you can trigger off of. So if you change your opportunities, so maybe you had them from contact created now to a hot lead or a new lead, you can, once that opportunity has been moved, you can automate actions from that. Once an opportunity has been created, you can automate actions off of that. Opportunity change, pipeline staged, and stale opportunities. So stale opportunities is essentially like, hey, if someone sits in my no-show for 3 weeks, just move them to close lost, for example. Is it easy to port my LinkedIn premium contact leads? Yes, it is, Elizabeth. It is just via CSV file. Affiliates. So if you're, I don't think this is applicable, but you could, if you have an affiliate model, once affiliates have created, or if they have new affiliate sales, you can automate like, hey, congrats, you just got a new sale, or hey, welcome to this partnership. Super excited to have you. Courses. So there is a section in Progreda where you can actually build and sell out your own courses. Think of this as like almost like Kajabi, School, those different programs out there. You can do the exact same thing inside of Progreda, whether it's free or you're selling the course, but you can automate a bunch of actions off of certain things that are happening within the course. So if you sell a course and someone starts a category or completes a category, you're going to be able to send automations from that. If they've started or completed a lesson, if you have a new sign up into your course, you can automatically remove or give access into a course based off, hey, DM me the word, get started, and I'll give you access to my course. That'd be a great way. And then this is where you'd be access granted, and then now you're nurturing them to try and get them to buy something from you. Once that product has been accessed, or you can fire off actions once you have a product that's been accessed or removed, product started or completed, or someone's gotten their login information. So those, again, are all things that can occur that will allow you to automate actions off of that. Same with payments. So we'll go over all the different softwares inside of Progreda in just a second, but also know that your CRM and marketing tools that you're using should also have some level of integration. So this is inside of Progreda where you can, again, automate actions based off these events. So if an invoice has been sent or created, if payment has been received, if you have an order form submitted or order form submission, any documents or contracts that have been sent out or signed, subscription that's been paid, or your a refund has happened. So these, again, once these occur, you can automate actions. So where you see most of this happening is if someone is purchasing something from you, you're just saying, hey, thank you for your payment. Here's confirmation. Super excited to have you. Others are, hey, once you submit this form, we'll send you an invoice. Once you're paid, you'll get access. So that's more like I see that a lot on the medical side. So, hey, we got your script, or we got the telehealth doctor or physician is ready to see you. Once you pay, you're good to go. It could be as simple as that. Documents and contracts are more on like the real estate insurance side of the house is what I see a lot. If you need certain documents or contracts that need to be sent, this is a great way to use that or automate things. So once one thing occurs, I want to send this off. And then subscriptions, if you're selling reoccurring subscriptions or products, you could use this as well. And again, if you're refunding people. Shopify, for those who are selling a product or a service, and that service and product is on a Shopify website, you can also automate things inside of Progreda there. So if someone leaves something in their abandoned checkout, you can automate texts and emails saying, hey, we noticed you left your item in the car, or maybe after a week, if they still haven't purchased, here's 10% off. Once the order has been placed, really great way to say thank you so much for your order. We really hope you enjoy XYZ. And then once your order has been fulfilled, so once you have fulfilled the order and marked it as shipped, you can send out a text and email, hey, your order has been shipped and fulfilled. You'll see it in the next whatever days. And then lastly, our communities. So communities are sort of like school also, and like Circle, for example. These, you can also have a community inside of Progreda. Essentially, it's like a private Facebook group where you can have people in there, whether it's private, public, paid, or free. You can automate things off that. So once you've granted access to a group, do you want to send out emails? Hey, thank you so much for joining the group or community or whatever the case may be. Here's what you're going to find inside of this group, or group access revoked for whatever reason. So these are all the different triggers or events that can happen that will fire off a series of actions. So now we're going to focus on actions. Actions are what is going to happen right off of one of those triggers or events that we just walked through. So we have the same sections. We have contact, events, payments, etc. So we're going to walk through some of these. So where we had the ability to create contacts with a trigger for an action, you can find or update contact records. So maybe if they fill out a secondary form, you're updating or finding a contact. So that way you can do X, Y, and Z after that. You can add or remove contact tags. Again, this is a really great way to organize and segment out the audiences and leads that sit within inside of your system. A great way could be they come in as a lead and you tag them as a lead, but as soon as you close them, you're tagging them as like active patient or active buyer, whatever the case may be. You can assign to users. So this is for those who are using the tool with other individuals. So maybe again, we have real estate people here. Maybe we're assigning leads and round robbing them between our real estate agents, or maybe we're doing that for insurance agents or brokers. You can also remove an assigned user. You can edit conversations, enable or disable D&D. So if they, an example of this is if our trigger was customer replied with the keyword stop or unsubscribe, we're gonna enable D&D, for example. We're gonna add to notes. So maybe if they're filling out a form or a survey, or again, they replied and send us information, maybe we want to add it into a note into their contact record. We can also add tasks as actions as well. So once an event has occurred, we want to add a task to someone on the team. Communication. There's lots of different ways that you can send out communication inside of Progreda. Also, with any other CRM and marketing tool, make sure that there's multiple ways that you can market out to the leads that are coming into your system. For Progreda, there's multiple. So you have emailing and SMS. You have Slacks. Slack, you're really not going to Slack your leads. It's probably more internal if you're wanting to Slack teams, and that's how your team communicates every day is really why you would want to use Slack. Would never want to use Slack for a lead most of the time. Calling, so you can also call your leads here. This would be more like a manual call to action, or you're like calling and doing like voicemail drops too, is another really popular one. Messenger, so Facebook Messenger, Instagram DM, Google My Business Messaging, things like that, where you can actually send marketing through that. Now, do know social media privacy policies, they have to initiate a Facebook Messenger or Instagram DM or a Google My Business message for you to actually send out a DM. So they have at least had to have interacted with you through those channels before you can just send someone an Instagram DM. So keep that in mind. You can't just send a random person a DM, especially because you don't know what their social profile is. Manual actions to call and send text messages. Think of this as like a reminder, or for those who have used power dialers in the past, think of this as a way that within a certain step, maybe it's after so many sale opportunities and new leads that haven't moved for a week, we're going to go and manually call them one after another. So it's like power dialing through all those people within that stage, cold calling, seeing if you can't move them through that journey. Same with texting, you could do the same thing, just sending out manual text messages one after another. You can send an internal notification. So this is where you can send internal SMS, emails, and just Progreda notifications to other people on the team, or just other people that are inside of Progreda as users. So this is a really great way to notify someone in the next step of the process, or even yourself. Maybe a lead has completed of a form or a survey or some event that you had tasked to them, and then you want to notify yourself when that happens. So maybe you've been nurturing a list for a while, you're really trying to get people to book free consultations. When that free consultation has been booked, you can send yourself an internal notification that, hey, this new lead or this lead customer or whatever just booked an appointment. So that's how you'll use internal notifications there. Send review requests. This is a really great way to increase your reputation management over time. So this is where after I have won them, or they have bought something from me, or I've finished my service or responsibility for that client, I can automatically send a request. There are two different ways, not to get super sidetracked, that I see companies use send review request. One is just directly saying, hey, we hope you've had a really great experience with us. If you don't mind, leave us a review. But there is a slight risk in that. And if maybe they didn't have a great experience with you and they're about to write a negative review that's about to go on your Google or Facebook. Some other things that you can do is just say, hey, we really appreciate your business. Did you have a good experience with us? If they respond yes, or if their reply is positive in nature, you can say, great, would you mind sending us a review? If they say no, or it's negative in intent or negative sentiment around their response, then instead of sending them the review link, you can just say, oh no, I'm so sorry you've had a bad experience. How can I help? I'd love to call you. We'd love to work this out, whatever the case may be of how you want to conversate that. But that is a really great way to ensure that before you send your review link, that you're sending it to customers who have had really good experiences with you, because not all customers are going to be upfront and honest. Some are keyboard warriors and will wait until you send that link to tell the world how bad of an experience they had. And that just could be the personalities at the end of the day. So always ask first if they've had a good experience, and if they have not, do not send that review request. You have also WhatsApp. So this is more commonly used for international teams or people in like the tech gaming space like to use WhatsApp groups. Sending data. So we talked about inbound webhooks. So we're capturing information from an outside source. We can also send data out to an outside source. So this is more of our outbound webhooks. So we can send via webhook, where the most common one used here is where we're sending it out to Zapier, and then Zapier is passing that data to another tool, for example. You can create custom webhooks. So those are more into our developer friends who can get into coding, Python, JavaScript, all that fun stuff. And you can also send things out to Google Sheets for our data analytics people who really like to have everything in spreadsheets, whether it's Excel or Google. You can webhook out data into Google Sheets as well. And then you have different tools here. So these are sort of like the sequences that we talked about earlier. So this is where you're going to be able to have certain conditions within your automations. So if else, so this is like a branch that you can add into actions. So a good example would be a lead comes in and they book an appointment. And then maybe you're somewhere within your journey that you need to split off the directions that they're going. So maybe if they booked the appointment, but they didn't buy from you, or they did not complete a certain task, you can basically just have your branch here. So if they book the appointment and they bought, we want to do nothing. But if they didn't, they booked what they didn't buy, we want to throw them in all these other nurturing sequences to try and get them to buy. So it's making sure that whoever is coming in, you're making sure that you're sending the right paths of information to them. So that way, again, you're segmenting out that data. This is where tags are going to come in hand. I use most of the time, my if else are with tags. So if this person comes in with a tag X, Y, and Z, we're going to pull them down into these type of automations, versus if they don't, we want to take them down these steps, for example. The if else can be very intricate ways and builds, but it's really great to ensure that you're putting people where they need to be and you're having the right conversations with them. A wait step is just that. You can wait for various different things. So waiting for a time period. So waiting 5 hours, days, or weeks before you send out something else. You can do waits before a specific date. So if those of you have appointments or events coming up, this is where you can tell the system, wait 1 hour before this event, and then send out blah, 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 blah. You also have wait after. So wait after 2 days before, after there. So really great ways to continue to nurture them in that timely manner. You can split things off. So it's sort of like an if else, but you can split kind of anywhere in the workflow. So I don't see this used as much, but it can be for those who have really complex customer journeys. You can split, you can do a direct split, or you can even do a go-to step. So what a go-to step is, if I have someone coming down the sequences, but I need them to repeat certain steps. So let's just say, so for a good example, I have a client in the medical space who we verify if payment has been made for their prescription. So we have an if else branch. If they pay, great. We're going to send them a thank you, and then we're going to put them in this queue. If they don't, we have a wait step that waits every 2 hours to check to see if they paid their invoice. So instead of going in and saying, wait, if else, we use the go-to. So we go to the branch again, that's going to check to see if they have those tags, if they've paid, if they haven't. If they haven't, they're going to go to the next waiting 2 hours again, and it just loops every day, every 2 hours, and it checks. So that's an example of how you can just have the go-to. So that way you're not having to build out days worth of automations. Can update custom values. So custom values are ways that you can personalize areas with inside of Progreda here. So most other tools, CRM tools and marketing tools also have custom values, but this is where you could say, we want to update a name, we want to update a birth date, we want to update a specific date. This could also be if you have custom values for like yearly or quarterly type updates, email marketings, whatever the case may be. You could just say, I want to update to the year, I want to update the month, I want to update the quarter, whatever the case may be. This is really great if you have like reoccurring webinars that you're sending information out to. After, your webinar, you could update that custom value to change the date, and then it's going to automatically add that to your next marketing sequence. So really easy way to not have to go through a million different emails that you have for your webinars. You can just update that custom value. You have date and number formatters if you need to be doing that. Math operations. I don't know why someone would use this. I've still not used this, but if you're in a business where you're using a lot of math, this could be valuable. You can set an event start date. So maybe after someone fires off an event, you're setting an event date. Maybe you're doing an event for a meeting, appointment, or after they've done something, you got to see them again in 6 months. So you can set that time or date or event there. You can add to different workflows. So if they've completed this step, you want to move them into the next sequence, you can automatically add them to different workflows that you have. You can remove them from the workflow that they're currently in. And then you can also remove them from all workflows. So that means they're not in any marketing. This is another great secondary gut check of if someone comes and says stop, unsubscribe, D&D, just remove them from all workflows, ensuring that they're not getting any of those. They're not being bombarded with emails and texts. It's just another great way of ensuring that they're not gonna do that. You have what's called drip mode. So drip mode is really important if you have a large set of lead lists that you're sending, especially if they are cold lead lists, because cold lead lists don't always guarantee that the information in them is accurate and are working numbers or emails. So if you get a lead list that has 10,000 people in there and you go ahead and send 10,000 people an email and 7% of them bounce, you're going to blacklist yourself from your domain. You're going to block yourself from being able to send emails. So it's really important that you're dripping emails out when you're not 100% sure. There are things that you can buy like email validations, or if you are just confident that you're not going to be above a certain threshold, you don't necessarily have to drip, but it is a good marketing practice if you have large lead lists. I always like to say if you're at the 250, 500, it's pushing it, 250 is a sweet spot that you can drip an email every hour to that lead list. That could be like if you're really popular and you have someone drop a sign up or some sort of link that people can start to put in their information, and 10,000 people do it at once. You're probably not going to want to send 10,000 texts and emails. You're going to want to drip that. Again, you have an update appointment status or generate a one-time booking link. So this could be if someone no-showed and you just need to generate a one-time rescheduling link, you could have that in the system. If you need to update an appointment status. So if, for example, if someone gets moved to a no-show, we want to automatically update their appointment status as no-show. So that's if you're really heavy into the Progreda calendar. Opportunities, if you create an opportunity or remove an opportunity based off a certain event. Payments, you can also automate things after an event happens. So do you want to send a one-time payment? Do you want to send an invoice? Do you want to send a document and contract based off an action that a lead has taken? And then marketing, do you want to add data to Google Analytics, Facebook, add to a custom audience, remove from a custom audience? These are really great custom audiences if you're doing a lot of lookalike audience. So if you're in a super niched area or niched industry and you have a hard time capturing effective leads on Facebook, for example, and you're doing everything else right, you could do what's called lookalike audience. So essentially, anytime that you close a lead within that system, you're automatically adding them into that lookalike system, into your audience, helping Facebook find more people like that individual. So that way you can increase that overall conversion there. If you're in the affiliates, you can also add actions for affiliates. So adding someone to an affiliate, updating an affiliate, adding to a specific affiliate campaign, or removal from affiliate campaign. Courses. So if someone signs up for a course or they reply the word get started, you can automatically grant them course or revoke a course. Same with communities, you can automatically grant or revoke communities. So all in all, there are lots of different triggers and actions that you can take inside of Progreda and most CRM and marketing tools. These are really great ways to, again, free up your time, make it more efficient in your business, take those manual steps off your plate so that way you can focus on growing your business, focus on applying your time in a more efficient manner. So think about your customer's journey, think about all these different triggers and actions, and think about, okay, can I automate X, Y, and Z? Can I make my life easier here? What can I manually take off my plate today using automations? So with that being said, we're gonna talk about tools and then we'll come back and set something up together. But these are all the different tools that Progreda integrates with. So we have not all of them are on here, but all the major ones. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You also can do TikTok. Payments, Stripe, and PayPal is the biggest one. We also have QuickBooks that you can integrate with. Calendars, we have Outlook, Google Calendar, Calendly. Calendly, you probably don't want to be paying for if you are using Progreda, because Progreda can do the exact same thing Calendly can do. And then communication, collaboration, so Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom integrations that you can add inside of Progreda. With these integrations, those are going to allow you to automate things off these integrations. So if you have Facebook leads coming in from either ads or organic social, you can capture data, send off email marketing and text, or respond back as an IG DM or Facebook Messenger. For those of you who want to take payment from within inside of a system or manage your payment, you have QuickBooks, Stripe, and PayPal as options that you can add payments and product links inside of Progreda. You can send out invoices from each of these different products. You don't have to go in and do it manually. You can automatically do it. Same with calendars, whereas Calendly is like it's a siloed service for calendar, creating your bookings and connecting it with multiple calendars. You do the same thing inside of Progreda. You can create a Progreda calendar if necessary, and then you can connect your Google, Outlook, and I believe Apple Calendar. Now, one thing that I'll say here is I don't like the Calendlys of the world or the Progreda calendars. I love connecting my Google Calendar and checking for conflicts so that when I'm sending out a booking link from Progreda, it's going off my Google Calendar's availability. I don't know why I use Google Calendar, and that's my source of truth for everything. So I don't want to have to bounce between multiple different calendars and try and manage appointments from different calendars. Everything just flows into my Google Calendar. Hold on, I'm about to see. And cough, sorry. And then communication and collaboration tools. So again, I know that there's actions that you can take off of like Slack, for example. It's really more internal. You're most likely not going to use Slack for leads unless you're in like cryptocurrency world and you're using Slack instead of like Discord, for example. Cryptocurrency is just a random example, but again, most likely you're not going to be using that for leads. But if you are, you can automate things there. So that being said, we're going to go through a live demo with a scenario that I see a lot, and we're going to build together, and I'll show you how easy it is to build multiple scenarios. So the first scenario is we want to send automated emails and text messages to nurture a lead once they've come in via a form. We're going to tag them as a lead, and we're going to manage them in our pipeline. So how are we going to do that? If I was to go back into Progreda, I know that, again, I said we're going to send automated emails and text messages. to leads when they come in to as a form. So I know my trigger is going to be a form submission. So I'm going to hit form submitted here. Now, for those of you who have multiple different forms and surveys, you do not want to just keep that here and hit save. You're going to want to filter and say which form that you're needing this to come from. So if I have an offer out there, I'm going to select my offer advertising. Again, naming conventions. You want to tell yourself that this is your trigger. So instead of just saying form submitted, now I have form submitted offer advertising form. So if I needed to quickly know what this trigger was, I know it's my advertising form that I have out there on an ad or a landing page. Same here for your workflow. So I know that this is my form, my advertising form submission. And I'm going to be emailing. I'm going to be, sorry. I'm going to be sending out an SMS. I'm going to be tag as lead. Oh my gosh, on the fly, I get nervous, okay. Tag as a lead, and then we're gonna update or add to opportunity pipeline. So this is where if I was to go back, I'm gonna click save for a second. If I was to go back and try and find this, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know I'm looking for my advertising form submission. I know that I'm emailing, texting, tagging, and adding to a pipeline. So again, naming conventions are huge. You don't have to do it exactly like this, but just organize yourself because automations can get really crazy. You can have a lot of them. So we know our trigger is form is submitted. And we know that we're going to be sending out an email and a text message to our leads. So I'm going to hit this little plus button and I'm going to type an email because I want to send an email out to them. I want my from name to be my business name. So this would be Stage Creatives, for example, or for those of us who really are into customization and efficiency, you can use your custom values. So this could be your custom value where you're always pulling in your business name. So that way you don't have to type it out every time. You're just grabbing it and changing it. It'll automatically enter in that value. From email, same thing. So I can either manually type, which you can see there are risks to that. I can't even type out loud, y'all. And then you can either do that or you can do the custom value and you're finding that from email so that way you can automatically populate the format for that. Subject, this is where you want to put your subject. So thank you or get ready, whatever the case may be for the form, whatever the offer is. Anyway, you're putting your subject line here. Then you have two different areas here. You can select from templates. So inside of Progreda, you can actually do marketing emails. Those are my favorite because they're just pretty and I think they just look more professional when you're trying to nurture leads to take that next step. It's going to allow you to embed photos, videos, trigger links, calendars, forms, whatever the case may be. So if you have a template already, you can select the template and there you go. Or if you don't have a template and you want to start typing, this is where you'll be adding in the copy here. You can add in photos, links, as well as custom values. So if you're saying, so this is where you can start to personalize things. So hi, contact, first name. So instead of just saying, hey, thanks so much and not personalizing it at all, I'm just going to autofill the first name from that form that they just submitted. So, hey, so-and-so, thank you so much for your interest. Book a free consultation. Now I can add a link to my calendar. I can put the URL. I can select my action. I can hit save. You could also in an email use a trigger link instead. So again, so instead of using this and just doing, instead of doing book and clicking the link and then just doing your www dot whatever your URL is, you would hit save on that. You're using a trigger link. So essentially you're just telling the system, sorry, I clicked on the wrong one, telling the system that it's my calendar booking. So that way you can automate if they actually click on it, but don't book. You can automate, hey, don't forget to book. I just saw you were on my calendar. But very simple is what it's going to look like here. You can add attachments if you want to add coupon codes or information here, you can do that. And then you can send out a test email. This is a really great way just to look at what it's actually going to look like when it goes to somebody as you're building. And then you're coming back up here and you are changing the naming convention. So you're sending a thank you email, free consultation email. So now I know that this email, if I was to save, I'm just gonna add in random copy here. If I was to save, I know it's my thank you and my free consultation email that's going out. Now I know I'm gonna want to send a text message. I'm gonna hit send SMS. You can also do text templates, or you can start from scratch. So, hey, contact's first name, because we want to personalize this. I just sent an important email to your inbox. Make sure you take a look. Don't forget to check spam if you don't see it. Boom. Simple as that. We're sending an SMS, check email. So I'm saving the action, and now I know I'm sending a text message to tell them to check their email here. Now that I've sent the lead themselves, all the marketing information that I want as of right now, I want to also segment out my contact list inside of Progreda. So I'm going to want to add a tag. So I know I'm going to want to add a tag. I'm going to search up tag. I'm going to add a contact tag. And if I don't already have one, I'm going to do lead. So what type of lead this was, we'll just put it as a new lead for now. And then what I like to do is new lead tag added. My goodness, y'all. Boom, naming conventions. Again, you're going to get annoyed by the end of this about how many times I remind you to name your actions because it's so important. But now I'm going to segment out my audience by applying a tag to every single lead and contact that comes in as a new lead, thus allowing me to send off one-off actions or marketing based off those contacts. And then I'm going to manage them in the pipeline. I'm going to want to update their opportunity. So I'm going to want to come in here and select in my sales pipeline. I'm going to put them as a new lead. And then if you have a value, you can add your values in here. So if you know that every single lead is going to be $100 once you close them, you can go ahead and add that. That's just going to update your reporting and dashboard inside of Progreda. For those who sell different products, different services where you don't know, you don't have to put anything in. That's totally fine. Opportunity name is automatically going to default to their first and last name, as well as the source. It's automatically going to update. However, you have choices here. If you want the opportunity name to be something very specific and even the source to be very specific. So if you know that the source is coming from Facebook lead, you could do, oops, I went in full mode. That's okay. You could do Facebook lead ad, for example, as that's the name. Y'all get the gist. But you could do that as your source. So that way you can see, okay, how many are coming from Facebook lead ads versus organic, whatever the case may be. So then I'm add to new lead from Facebook pipeline stage. And then save action, and then boom. Now you have, I really want to exit out of this full mode. It's killing me. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So now you have, you're adding your new lead to your pipeline. So new lead is coming through a form through my advertising offer form. I'm going to send them a free thank you. I'm going to send them a free consultation and thank you email. I'm going to send them a text to remind them to check their email because I just sent something very important. I'm going to add a tag so that can segment and organize the contacts inside of my system. And then I'm also going to add them to a pipeline so I can monitor all the leads that come in one place. And if I got to move or edit things, I can over time. And then you're going to hit publish and hit save. Once you publish and save, you're ready to go, which I'm going to drop that back because even though I don't know if that's live, but anyway, some other things that I want to highlight here once this is live. Things happen and you may say, hey, this person did not get my text and email. What the heck is going on? And so you have enrollment history and execution logs. So enrollment history, and actually let me go find this is on the fly. I want to actually show y'all an example of people in enrollments. Okay, so here is a newsletter email sequence. So when a contact tag has been added, we're sending them newsletters. So we can see enrollment history here. So this is every individual that's actually enrolled in this actual workflow. And then we have the execution log. So this is going to tell us every single step that each individual got sent in this flow. So we know that Lucia got added, they waited, we got skipped on the email, and now we can see why. So we can see every time that Lucia entered in, and we can look at the, we can look at the event details to see that the reason they're not getting emails is because their email is not valid. So if Lucia comes back to you, text or calls you and says, hey, I'm not getting your email, I don't know what you're talking about, you can go in here and look and see, oh, it's because I don't have a right email. So then you can respond back via text, via call, and just say, here's the email that I have. Can you verify if this is a right email or not? So that's an example where you can kind of check the back end of your automations, ensuring that everyone is flowing in properly. And if they are not, the reason why it failed. There's lots of different reasons why I look at enrollment and execution a lot. And then settings. So you can allow re-entries and you can stop on response. So allowing re-entries, typically you want to turn that off because you don't want someone to, for example, maybe you have like a free coupon or a free download out there and you have it open. You don't want people to come in and continue to grab that. Sometimes you want re-entry if it makes sense, but typically I never turn that on. Stop on response. So if you're needing a response from someone within your flow, you don't want to continue to add them into that same nurture sequence if it doesn't make sense. So this could be if they respond, stop or unsubscribe, or if they just respond in general, and maybe you just want to take them out because they are responding and you want to put them in a different workflow. So this is a good one. Time zones. So if you want to account for the time zones, you can actually come in here and flip those on the time zones of do I want to send 5 a.m. my time zone or a contact's time zone? So just being mindful that various people live in various areas in the world and we're not sending a 2 a.m. Email or text or call. Same with time window. You can also use, hey, I don't really want to bother people on the weekends. I only want to send out messages Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Up to you how you want to do those time windows, but those are really helpful to ensure, again, you're not bombarding someone with information at ungodly hours. And also, sometimes we're scrolling ads late at night. I don't want to 24 hours later get a text or an email at midnight. And then if you always want the sender detail and from email to default here, and you don't want different from names or from emails, you can just go ahead and put that in the settings. It'll always send out from this name and email. And then mark as read. So if this within the conversation tab inside of Progreda, when you're sending out a blast of email, to automatically all go into the conversations tab. So that way you can see if anyone responds. It kind of gets a little jumbled if you're sending a lot. So I recommend marking that as read if you're going to blast a large email or text campaign and really truly only focus on the people that are responding and are truly unread. So those are some additional things there on the fly for workflows. But essentially, it's as easy as that. Once again, once you have your scenario, you know exactly what you want to do with that customer journey. You're just going in and finding that so that way you can continue to automate all the things that you're doing manually today, or maybe things you're not even doing or considering doing. This is going to enhance and help increase your conversion rate if you're not nurturing people, if you're not pushing them to book or buy your product or do whatever action that you're trying to do. If it's just a one-off, you don't think about it after you send a one communication, you're losing prime opportunities to continue to nurture and convert people. And I know I say this every webinar for the people who've been here multiple times. It takes lots of touches, 8 to 15 marketing touches before someone actually buys from you. So remember that you want to automate a lot of those things so you're not manually doing that on your own. Okay, now we're going to talk about best practices and tips. So starting simple and then scaling up. So start with basic automations. You can start small today. Start with appointment reminders, start with thank you confirmations, start with just adding to pipelines, whatever the case may be, just start really, really basic. From there, you can focus on your high impact areas. So this could be one or two things. Are you manually reminding people or manually trying to keep up with everyone in your system or on your sheets? Those are high impact areas that you can free up your time and help with your conversion. So focus on those first before you start doing something else. Or high impact could be, hey, I just have so many people who are interested and I don't have time to send out all these reminders and I'm getting a bunch of no-shows. Focus on the basic automation of sending appointment reminders, an automatic reschedule link, so that way you're not having to think about doing that. And then gradually add more complexity. So this is where you're going to start with the basics. And then after you have the basics and foundation, you have more time to be strategic on what you want to automate, scale up, add in various different automations. Regularly review and optimize your workflows. Schedule those reviews on your calendars. It's really important. I always like to say, and especially in Progreda, because it's a blank canvas, there are so many ways that you can do things and accomplish things. As you get maybe even more sophisticated in a tool like Progreda, or B, your business grows, your business changes, the sophistication, what you're learning about your business, especially for those who are on the newer side of businesses, things are going to change. You're going to pivot, you're going to learn things. Just schedule those reviews so that you know, oh yeah, I'm actually not doing that anymore. I don't want to be sending clients that. The more automations you get, the harder it's going to be to manage and optimize are things that you're going to be thinking, about are not going to be managing and optimizing. So schedule those reviews, make sure you're optimizing and reviewing what you have. Send CSATs or NPS surveys if applicable. This is a really great way for those who have long customer journeys. You just want to make sure that they're having a good experience with you. This could be on the tech side of the house. This could be on transactional deals, whatever the case may be, just getting good. This could also be review requests too. So CSATs, NPS, not always applicable to your standard business, but it can be if your business revolves around more of that tech and development side. Track performance, use the reporting inside of Progreda, use the reporting in those other tools if applicable, if they have those. See what's optimizing, what's working, look at your conversion rates, look at your pipelines, look at how many leads are coming in. Are they quality leads, not quality leads? So just track things inside of the system so that way you can continue to optimize that flow. And then make adjustments. As you are going to be scheduling those reviews, tracking those performance, make those adjustments, continue to optimize and review. I do this a lot with my own clients, including myself, as offers change, different customers change, businesses grow, they scale up, they scale down, whatever the case may be, you're always optimizing. And then personalizing automated messages. So use the customer data that you have, the custom values to personalize your messages, send off personalized messages based off the tagging in the system, by segmenting your audience is also really important. And then just to help you adding another level of human touch. So that's just going to help us personalize and not feel like robotic in the way that we're responding. A lot of customers nowadays and just general people want that sort of human touch, that level. I think it's because we get just so used to a screen, we expect that humanization across screens, and that can be challenging and hard, but there's easy ways to start doing that now. Just saying, hey, contact first name is a great first step into doing that. Okay, so what's next? For those of you who are not using a system or are in a system that doesn't have these capabilities, we're actually going to be offering a free trial. So I'll put that in the chat here. It's a free 30-day trial for free, no risk. Sign up for it if you want to start using automated tools. And for those who want to take your business to the next level, or maybe you just want some strategy on how to take your business to the next level, also offering a free strategy call with myself, and we'll either go over marketing services if you're needing that, or we'll go over strategy. if you're needing to know, hey, I'm stuck, I feel like I'm not growing where I've wanted to grow, or here's my idea of how I'm pushing people through my customers' journeys, I'm happy to help give some strategy or help elevate and grow your business. So again, for those of you who do not have a free trial and want a free trial and are not on Progreda, do it today so that way you can start automating things. With that being said, though, would love to open it up to questions. Any thoughts or questions out there from the group around automations? Feel free to type in the chat, or I believe you all can come off unmute if you have certain questions there too. Okay, I'm going to assume no questions. Oh, I'm in a niche tech space. How much per month after a free trial? I believe the lowest package is $99, then $3.99, and then $7.99. I could be wrong, so I apologize. But those are ballpark. Definitely close to 400, close to 800 a month, and then $99 a month. Okay, I'm in a niche tech space and I don't know one thing about marketing. All I have right now is LinkedIn Premium. How can I convert these? Um, is there no contract, month to month, no obligation? Um, so I'm assuming you're going in and sending out messages through LinkedIn to try and get leads that way. Okay. Well, one, you could connect your LinkedIn into Progreda, and any of those replies will go into Progreda. But two, it sounds like you're in the business space. Are you B2B in your tech space, or are you B2C or both? Okay, B2B. So you're focusing on businesses in the tech space. You'll probably have to do what are you doing right now as far as outside of LinkedIn Are you only messaging businesses? Nothing. Okay. And then how are you following up with any of these people? How are you keeping their data? Do you have a spreadsheet, or are you just kind of like seeing what's working, what's not working? A spreadsheet. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot that you can do there as far as automation. Honestly, if you want, go ahead and just book that brief strategy call. Just hop on a call with me for 30 minutes and I can kind of help you figure out what next steps looks like, what you can start doing. If it's in a spreadsheet, you can just move that into a system and then continue to nurture and automate these businesses. You could do that by offering free consultations or whatever you're trying to get them to purchase from you, since you're in a niche tech space. You could start doing monthly newsletters. So giving your thought leadership industry advice for their industry or just your overall offering to continue to nurture them and educate them on who you are, build up that trust factor, and then embed things. So embed videos, forms, calendar, booking links, whatever the case may be in some of those email marketing. If you're working with B2B, email marketing is probably the best. You're probably not going to get people's personal phone numbers, so I wouldn't worry about texting them. But you could probably really get a lot from email marketing. You could also do LinkedIn ads. So that's a really good one if you're B2B focused. And then all of those leads can go into Progreda's system, and then you would be able to continue to nurture them. So once they're a lead, what's that journey look like with them? So those are the things that I would start now thinking about. So if you have that spreadsheet, how are you continuing to send them information about yourself, who you are, what you're offering, and why it's valuable to them? Or if you're running ads, that's a really great way. If you're not ready to invest in ads, you could do organic social. So figuring out how to capture or hook those businesses through social media and using links on your post to get them to schedule consultation with you or enter in their information for you to reach out. Yeah, we can talk about that, Elizabeth. So I can chat with you, give you some strategy and tips. I can also go over our services. We can definitely help you with that. I want to know a little bit more about your tech space and what you're actually offering, and I can give you some ideas there. Can I set up a point with you on your calendar? I don't have time to run these CRMs. If anyone can work for me and do it. Yep, 100%. Feel free to schedule a call with me. We can run through what you're doing today, what you're needing, and go over our services, and then we can also give you strategy too. So 100%, definitely book, and happy to kind of help walk y'all through wherever you're at and kind of next steps on what you can do and then what we can do to help you get there too. How to contact you. In that link above, there's been a lot, so let me just grab it again. If you want to click that link right there, that's going to allow you to book on my calendar. It's going to ask you some questions that you'll have to fill out for me. And then you're good to go. And hopefully my checking to make sure my calendar is up to date for y'all before I do that. Before you book. Sometimes I forget, so I apologize. Not updating my calendar before this. Okay, okay, that should be up to date on, oops, my calendar, so you should be able to see updated times for next week. Okay, perfect. Yeah, feel free to book, and I would love to talk to you about your business. Any other thoughts or questions about automations, marketing in general? I'm gonna assume no. Oh, great, just got your appointment VIP, and then I haven't gotten yours, Emily, yet, or Elizabeth, sorry, not Emily, I apologize. But great, okay. Oh yeah, tomorrow, perfect. That works, we can chat then. Yeah, that works. Ooh, actually, I'm sorry, I did not update that. I know we're on live here, so I apologize, but is there a different time tomorrow? Can you meet an hour before? So it'd be like 8:30 Central. VIP commercial team. Okay, if not, we'll call you. I'll text you. Sorry, I didn't update my stuff for tomorrow. Okay. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a great rest of the night and day. And excited. Yes, that's fine. Okay, great. I'm gonna move you right now to that time. And you'll get an updated invite. Absolutely excited to help everyone grow and learn how to automate their business and move the needle. So yeah, have a great rest of your night. And for those of you who will be joining in 2 weeks, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And I don't know what we're going to be talking about yet. All right. Bye.